Nature refers to the physical world and all the living and non-living things that exist outside of human-made environments. It encompasses a wide variety of elements, including nature refers to the physical world and all the living and non-living things that exist outside of human-made in. Nature refers to the physical world and all the living and non-living things that exist outside of human-made environments. It encompasses a wide variety of elements, including nature refers to the physical world and all the living and non-living things that exist outside of human-made environments. It encompasses a wide variety of elements, including nature refers to the physical world and all the living and non-living things that exist outside of human-made, and nature refers to the physical world and all the living and non-living things that exist outside of human. It encompasses a wide variety of elements, including nature refers to the physical world and all the living and non-living things that exist outside of human-made environments. It encompasses a wide variety.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Nature refers to the physical world and all the living and non-living things that exist outside of human-made environments. It encompasses a wide variety of elements, including nature refers to the physical world and all the living and non-living things that exist outside of human-made environments. It encompasses a wide variety of elements, including nature refers to the physical world and all the living and non-living things that exist outside of human-made environments. It encompasses a wide variety of elements, including
we all have weaknesses. We all have moments when we doubt ourselves, when we feel as though we are not enough, not strong enough, not smart enough, not capable enough. But what if I told you that within those very weaknesses lies the potential for our greatest strengths? The secret, perspective, weakness is not a dead end. It is a doorway to growth. A person who struggles with confidence learns the power of preparation and practice. Someone who faces physical challenges develops resilience that many will never understand. A leader who lacks natural charisma becomes the hardest worker in the room, proving that success is not about where we start, but how we adapt. So I ask you today, what is your weakness? And more importantly, how will you use it to make yourself stronger? Because within you lies greatness waiting to be unleashed. We all have weaknesses. It is part of being human. At some point in our lives, we have all felt inadequate, incapable, or unworthy. We've all encountered moments where our own limitations seemed insurmountable. But what if I told you that the very things you see as weaknesses might actually be the key to your greatest strengths? What if I told you that the obstacles you face are not meant to break you, but to build you into something greater? Too often we see our limitations as barriers, when in reality, they are opportunities waiting to be unlocked. It is not our weaknesses that define us, but how we respond to them. The most successful individuals in history were not born with invincible strength or flawless talent. There were people who faced adversity, people who stumbled, fell, and struggled yet found a way to rise. Think about history's greatest leaders, inventors, and visionaries. Many of them were not naturally gifted in the ways we might assume. Some of the world's most influential minds struggled with self-doubt, failures, and setbacks. But rather than allowing those difficulties to dictate their futures, they chose to shift their perspective. They saw their weaknesses as stepping stones, as fuel to push themselves further. Our perspective shapes our reality. It is not the weakness itself that holds us back, it is how we choose to see it. A person who believes their struggles define them will always feel trapped by them. But someone who sees their weaknesses as a challenge, as an opportunity to grow, will find a way to rise beyond them. The truth is, many weaknesses are nothing more than strengths waiting to be discovered. Challenges do not break us, they build us. Every obstacle, every failure, and every flaw is a chance to evolve. The strongest minds are forged through adversity, the bravest hearts through struggle. It is in our darkest moments that we discover our true strength, not by avoiding weakness, but by confronting it, learning from it, and transforming it into something powerful. Consider the individual who struggles with public speaking. They may feel nervous, their hands may shake, their voice may tremble. But because they are aware of this weakness, they put in extra effort. They prepare, they rehearse, they refine their message. Over time, that very struggle turns into a powerful skill. They become articulate, thoughtful, and engaging not in spite of their weakness, but because of it. Or think of someone who lacks natural athletic ability. Maybe they are not the fastest, the strongest, or the most coordinated, but they develop discipline. They train harder. They focus on strategy, on perseverance, on outworking their competition. And in the process, they cultivate resilience, a strength far more valuable than raw talent. Weaknesses force us to adapt, and in adaptation, we find growth. When we struggle, we innovate. When we fall short, we push harder. When we face limitations, we find new ways to succeed. This is why some of the greatest entrepreneurs started with nothing. Why some of the most brilliant minds once failed in nines. Why some of the strongest individuals have endured the greatest hardships, because adversity breeds strength. Struggle builds character. The difference between those who succeed and those who don't is not the absence of weakness. It is the presence of determination. Those who rise to the top are not the ones who were handed everything easily. They're the ones who learned to take what they were given and make the most of it. So I challenge you today, look at yourself differently. Identify what you see as your weakness. And instead of asking, why am I like this? Ask, how can this make me stronger? How can your struggles teach you discipline? How can your setbacks build your resilience? How can your challenges shape you into the person you are meant to be? We all have weaknesses. It is easy to see them as barriers, as limitations that hold us back. We compare ourselves to others who seem stronger, more talented, or more capable, and we let our shortcomings define us. But what if we are looking at it all wrong? What if our weaknesses are not obstacles, but opportunities? What if they are not meant to hold us back, but to push us forward? Every struggle we face has the potential to shape us. Our setbacks, our failures, and our doubts do not exist to break us. They exist to build us. The key is perspective. A person who views their weakness as a dead end will never move past it, but someone who sees it as a challenge will find a way to grow. Some of the most successful people in history were not naturally gifted in the areas where they thrived. They were not handed success, they had to work for it. And in that work, they found strength. Consider the power of resilience. Every challenge we face is an opportunity to develop it. Failure is painful, but it is also a teacher. It forces us to adapt, to push beyond our limits, to develop skills we never knew we had. A person who stumbles repeatedly but keeps getting up does not remain weak. They become stronger. They learn endurance. They build character. They develop a mindset that refuses to quit, and that mindset is more valuable than any talent. The same applies in every area of life. A student who struggles in school may learn the power of persistence. An artist who lacks technical skill may develop creativity to work around it. A leader who is not naturally charismatic may learn to listen better, to understand people on a deeper level, and to lead with wisdom rather than charm. Strength is not about having no weaknesses. It is about using those weaknesses to build something greater.
Nature refers to the physical world and all the living and non-living things that exist outside of human-made environments. It encompasses a wide variety of elements, including nature refers to the physical world and all the living and non-living things that exist outside of human-made environments. It encompasses a wide variety of elements, including...
Imagine an athlete who is not the fastest or the strongest. They may lose races, struggle with training, or feel as though they are constantly behind their competitors. But because they are aware of their weaknesses, they work harder. They train longer. They develop discipline. Over time, they might not only catch up to their competition, they may surpass them. Not because they started with an advantage, but because they turned their weakness into fuel. The path to greatness is not smooth. It is filled with obstacles, doubts, and moments of failure. But it is in those very moments that we find who we truly are. So do not fear your weaknesses. Embrace them, learn from them, and most importantly, transform them into your greatest strengths. Think about someone who has faced a personal struggle, perhaps a physical disability, a financial hardship, or a difficult past. Many would see these as disadvantages, but those who succeed do not allow these struggles to be an excuse. Instead, they find a way to grow from them. They develop resilience, resourcefulness, and a drive that cannot be taught in any classroom. Their weakness becomes their power. True strength also lies in adaptability. Those who succeed are not the ones who never face difficulties. They are the ones who learn to adjust. Life is unpredictable, and rigid strength can break under pressure. But the ability to adapt, to find new ways to overcome challenges, is what separates those who thrive from those who stay stuck. The world's greatest innovators, thinkers, and leaders are those who embraced change, who found solutions when others saw only problems. They did not let their weaknesses define them. Instead, they found ways to work around them, to use them, and in doing so, they turned them into strengths. But none of this happens without belief. If we do not believe we can grow, we will not. If we see our weaknesses as permanent, we will never try to change them. Confidence is the bridge between where we are and where we want to be. It is the force that transforms doubt into determination, struggle into success. Those who believe they can improve will always find a way. And those who do not will always find an excuse. So I ask you today, what is your weakness? And more importantly, how will you use it? Will you let it hold you back? Or will you let it push you forward? Will you see it as a limitation? Or will you turn it into your greatest strength? The choice is yours. But remember this, the strongest people are not those who never struggle. They are the ones who struggled, adapted, persevered, and refused to be defined by their limitations. We all have moments when we feel inadequate, when we see our weaknesses as obstacles that prevent us from reaching our full potential. We compare ourselves to others who seem more gifted, more confident, or more capable, and we tell ourselves that we are not enough. But what if I told you that the very things you see as weaknesses could be the key to your greatest strengths? What if the struggles you face are not holding you back, but preparing you for something greater? Perspective is everything. A weakness is only a weakness if we allow it to be. What we often fail to see is that the very traits we believe limit us can be the foundation of our greatest abilities. A shy person might think they lack leadership qualities, but their quiet nature allows them to be a great listener, a skill that makes them a thoughtful and empathetic leader. A student who struggles in school might believe they are not intelligent, yet through perseverance, they develop problem-solving skills and resilience that serve them for a lifetime. A person who has experienced failure may feel discouraged, but in that failure lies the opportunity to learn, to grow, and to come back even stronger. Every challenge we face is a test of our resilience. Life will always present obstacles, but our response to them determines our future. Some people see setbacks as proof that they are not good enough. Others see them as stepping stones to something greater. The strongest individuals are not those who never struggle, but those who refuse to give up despite their struggles. They use failure as fuel, rejection as motivation, and challenges as opportunities to rise. History is filled with people who turned their weaknesses into strengths. The world's greatest innovators, leaders, and thinkers were not born with all the answers. Many of them faced failure, self-doubt, and difficulties that could have easily broken them. But instead of accepting defeat, they adapted. They found new ways to succeed. They refused to let their limitations define them. This ability to adapt is what separates those who achieve greatness from those who remain stuck. But none of this happens without self-belief. Those who do not believe they can improve will never try. They will allow their weaknesses to control them instead of taking control themselves. Confidence is not about having no weaknesses. It is about knowing that you can overcome them. It is about understanding that every flaw, every failure, and every difficulty is an opportunity to grow. Adaptation is the key to transformation. When we struggle with something, we are forced to find new ways of thinking, new strategies, and new skills. This is why so many successful entrepreneurs started with nothing. It is why athletes who lack natural talent become the hardest workers. It is why individuals who face adversity often develop an inner strength that allows them to achieve more than they ever thought possible. Strength is not about never falling. It is about rising every time we do. We all have weaknesses. We all have moments of doubt, fear, and struggle. But these do not define us. Our response to them does. The truth is, weakness is not an end but a beginning. It is a starting point for growth, for resilience, for transformation. What we see as limitations are often the very things that shape us into stronger, wiser, and more capable individuals. Throughout history, the most remarkable people were not those who never faced hardship, but those who learned to rise above it. They saw failure not as defeat, but as a lesson. They embraced challenges, adapted, and turned their struggles into strengths. And that same power exists within each of us. So I ask you today, how do you see your weaknesses? Do you see them as permanent, or do you see them as something that can be changed, improved, and even turned into strengths? The choice is yours. But remember this, the people who achieve great things in life are not those who were born without weaknesses. They are the ones who refuse to be defined by them. They are the ones who turn their struggles into strengths, their failures into lessons, and their doubts into determination. And you can do the same. The choice is yours. Rise to the challenge. Believe in your ability to grow and turn every weakness into a force that propels you forward. So I leave you with this. Do not fear your weaknesses. Do not let them hold you back. Instead, face them, learn from them, and use them as stepping stones to something greater. The road to success is not about avoiding failure. It is about refusing to be defined by it. You have the power to transform your struggles into strengths, your doubts into determination, and your weaknesses into the very foundation of your success. Thank you.